Hey, sir. Thank you. Great testimony. I'm intrigued by the electrification of, I guess, transportation, if you will. But let me ask you to comment on this. Yesterday, the CEO of Fiat Chrysler was quoted saying, I don't know of a business that is making money selling electric vehicles unless selling at a very, very high end of the spectrum. And this is made at the Detroit Auto Show. So I guess how do you kind of position that versus your very bullish statement that within a relatively short period of time, we're basically going to transition to a primarily or almost, equally electric car marketplace? Your thoughts?
Thank you very much, Senator. I think the electric cars, number of electric cars will grow, but our numbers show that even 2 decades from now, the biggest chunk of the cars we are running will be the existing internal combustion engines, the traditional cars. But electric cars will grow, especially in some regions. For example, in Europe, there is a lot of incentive and subsidy for the electric cars. In China, lots of support for electric cars. And with the declining cost of batteries for electric cars, plus the very generous government subsidies in some countries, we see the electric cars are increasing substantially. Having said that, some people say, you say that electric cars will increase, but at the same time, you think that there is a need for oil. How does it combine? It is the following, Mr. Senator. The cars are not the biggest part of the oil demand growth. Oil demand growth today in the world is driven by trucks, jets, ships, and most importantly, petrochemical industry. Even though there will be a lot of electric cars coming in the markets, running in the streets of the world, we will still see that there is a need for new oil production.
Let me ask you this then.
Of course.
There's been a move afoot to transition diesel vehicles, boats or trucks, to natural gas-powered vehicles. Do you see that impacting what you just said, or will oil continue to dominate?
Yeah. Oil will continue to dominate, but as long as the cost of gas remains low or moderate, we see, especially in the long-haul trucks, there is a big chance of substitution of oil by natural gas. And also not only for trucks, but also for the ships.
Now you say a big opportunity, but you've made specific projections regarding the percent of electric vehicles or the number. Have you done a similar analysis? What will be the rate of conversion of long-haul vehicles or barges or towboats to natural gas?
Yeah, we have also expectation that they will increase at least 3 times compared to today, but still the big portion will be coming from the oil products, okay, namely diesel.
Now, I don't have it here in your testimony. You speak of the sustained model, which or something such as that, the word sustained in there. And I gather that would be compatible with a low carbon mandate. The degree to which we achieve that, to what degree is that conversion of natural gas, of coal to natural gas or nuclear, and to what degree is that the deployment of renewables?
If I can give a few headline figures, we have different scenarios. One is with the current policies, where do we go? The other one is, you mentioned, sustainable, to keep keeping a close eye on the environment, especially that of climate change. In all of them, natural gas does increase. Natural gas is a winner, increasing its role in all of them. Renewables are growing very strongly in all of them, especially with the sustained one, especially for solar and wind. And coal will be depending on whether or not we can use coal in a cleaner way, especially in the context of carbon capture and storage. This is, for me, an extremely critical technology. And this is an area that I mentioned in our ministerial meeting. Secretary Perry and myself run a ministerial session on carbon capture and storage.
But let me ask, continuing on natural gas and renewables, in your current policy and the sustained policy, what is the relative growth of renewables, and not only the relative growth, but by 2040, what is the percentage of the international energy mix that would be held by either the renewables or the natural gas?
The share of natural gas will stay as it is now, about 20%, but the volume is going to increase. In terms of renewable generation, renewable electricity generation, it will grow also substantially, renewable electricity, coming mainly from solar and wind, but coal will be a significant loser unless we can make use of carbon capture and storage technologies. One critical technology, again, is the nuclear power. Nuclear power is a technology which can produce electricity without having any emissions, but this will be also depending on the policies of the governments, whether or not they would like to see nuclear to play a more important role in the region.
Thank you. Over, I yield back.